Hi, it's Chris Watkin here, and I'm with Jason Bushby, who used to be the commercial director to Rightmove. He left over a year ago and has recently joined Josh Rayner. But I asked him in his first interview last week, could I talk to him about his personal thoughts on the relationship between Rightmove and the estate agency industry? So welcome, Jason. Thank you for having the ball to be interviewed again by the Watkin. You were, really towards the top, if very close to the top of the pecking order at Rightmove. Would it be fair to say that Rightmove doesn't care about the UK estate agency industry, or not? Talk to me.
No, Rightmove absolutely is close to estate agents. I think there's the point of, does it deliver? But your question to me that day was, is Rightmove an agent's best friend? And I think friend is that connotation of, it's about, does it do what it's expected to do for agents? And does it do it in a way that's good value for money? Similar to agents with, do they deliver a good service for a decent fee? I think the argument's quite similar.
You see, a lot of people argue that it's not fair that they have a 75% profit margin. I have my opinion on that. What's yours? Is it right they should be making that amount of much money out of UK estate agency, or is it the case of it's not what it costs, it's what it's worth?
No, I think that's the point. I think we drag it back. It's, for these customers, does it deliver good value for money, and does it make them equally deliver an equal amount of value back? I think, I've never questioned about the what someone is getting from it, as long as they're getting the value back in their own right. So I get it's a bit issue, but I think lots of people have different views on what, for some, absolutely, I think it matters. For some, absolutely not. For others, as long as you keep delivering value, I don't really care. If that changes, I'll maybe change my mind at that time.
Do you think it's fair that a one-man band should pay on average £1,500, and a one-woman band should pay on average £1,500–1,600 for the same service that a corporate estate agent probably pays £300 or £400 a month for?
Okay, so I think there's a very big difference between what agent gets and pays to another. As an example, I think one of the questions that people need to really think about is, what value am I getting from it? What does it cost? As an example, is Rightmove value for money? So, and you talked about it, Chris, before. The average revenue per advertiser is £1,000.
Yeah, 1,088, by the way.
Yeah, okay. You're more precise than me. But then the average stock per agent is 47. So you divide the cost by the number of stock you've got on average. Again, some are more, some are less, some are average, but that is the average. That equals out to £21. It takes an agent 2 months to secure a sale. So £42. Is Rightmove value for money costing £42 to sell a house?
I don't disagree with you. I think the basic package, and I've gone on record on this, and I have been shot at, seem to be shot at a lot at the moment, but I've been shot at for saying that I think the basic package on Rightmove without the bells and whistles is good value for money if you want plug and play estate agency. But you're not answering my question, young man.
Okay.
Is it? Okay, I fully understand that there needs to be bulk discount for some agents, but to pay twice, if not even more, just doesn't smack of fairness to me. It's like the big boys are. It's like the small lads, the small boys and girls that actually need you are paying the profit, and that just doesn't sit right with me, if you don't mind me saying.
Yeah.
Appreciate there's going to be a discount. Let's go. We're all in business. Just doesn't.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, and I think even if you take the corporate side out of it, I think it's wrong that you reward for one commitment, the amount to spend. So equally, for all agents, it's based on the number of offices you get and the amount of money you spend. So actually, there's lots of variation in that for all different agents. Even when you look at it on a more local level, you've got 20% of Rightmove agents have less than 10 stock. You know, so actually, they're the ones that probably, in terms of that value proposition I mentioned, you know, because value is based on take the benefit minus the cost equals value. So if you're an agent that's got 10 or less stock, the average I give you, that's £42. Well, for 20% of Rightmove members, it's £100 a month. You know, so you know, what does it work out on a per property basis? That's hard for that 20%. I get that, but if you're at that kind of level and you're in a tough market like it is, they're generally the agents that find it hardest.
Okay, right. Okay, so let's move on from what they charge, because we agree on some things and we slightly disagree on the other. And again, I know you don't work for that, but one of my biggest beefs with them is their perceived lack of empathy. The stone wall. Okay, everybody knows Miles Shipside, top bloke, love him to bits. Used to be my boss's boss. I think he's one of the coolest men in the estate agency. He's brilliant. I love him to bits. So smooth. The point is, though, is that especially during, is that there's no Alex Chesterman. There's no one that you could pick the phone up and have a chat with. It's like you're all stood behind, and again, I know you're not stood behind the logo anymore, but it's like you're all stood behind the logo and no one's allowed to put their head above the parapet and actually talk or care or empathise.
Yeah, I understand that. I think, I
mean, when you work, I will give you your due, Jason, that when you did work for Rightmove, I came down to Soho Square and spent a couple of hours, and you did listen, so I will give you that. Brownie points for that. But do you think they're more concerned with caring about their stock, their shareholders, and not necessarily about their customers? And I mean care.
They absolutely care for both. You know, I think you've got to care for your customers. I mentioned to you last time we spoke about that personal trust and organisational trust, and those people in the relationship for the estate agent. I think the people that get missed out to this, the account managers that work for Rightmove, the job they do, and as part of that value, that what do you get? And I think there's definitely personal trust there between Rightmove and the account managers. I used to get them to call up and check that. I think there's organisational trust. I think that is being tested right now. I do understand that. But reflecting on your point about Miles, does he care? He loves the industry. Yeah, but Rightmove understands that. Going back, does it absolutely deliver on what it's expected to do? Yes, hands down, both for two people, estate agents and vendors. So it absolutely cares about delivering those things.
Do you think they could do a better job, though, of getting that message across? Because when journalists, very well-known journalists from the property industry are ringing me up saying what the hell is happening, and they're not getting anything, and I have the luckiness to speak with an awful lot of people. It's like a big grey wall. It's like the city of Troy. They all seem to be stood behind it. No one seems to be engaging.
Okay, so that
when the head guy, the head guy of In the Market rings me up and has a chat with me, and regularly has a chat with me. Clive Beattie, nice bloke. And then you've got the Zoopla guys ringing me up, and again, and then Rightmove, and again, there's other influencers, I don't love it, but others who we talk to, and we're just getting nothing. I don't know. I'm not getting at you. I'm not getting at you.
No, I get you. I think I'll give an example. 10 years ago it was. I remember it. And funny enough, Rob Sargent kind of time, because I remember speaking to him, but we talked about being faceless, and it probably articulates to what you're saying now. Is Rightmove faceless? I think it could definitely have someone else apart from Miles come out. At that time we did some road shows, so Pete Brooks Johnson.
Those road shows. They were brilliant. You should be doing what. And I said, I know it's not you, it's realestate.com, but they're everywhere. They're giving training away that people would pay hundreds of dollars for. Okay.
Yeah, but okay, I think that REA one is it completely true? I think if you speak to agents,
don't worry. Agents still don't like them, but they don't like them as well.
Okay.
It's a little bit lower. My next point is this. Okay, let's talk about the local account managers. Now, there's always bad people in any organisation, but how does it make you feel when I've heard on a number of occasions from separate agents with separate local account managers the phrase when they hand their notice in, "You need us more than we need you"? How would that make you feel if you were in charge of the local account managers and that wasn't just
that would hurt? Yeah, that would hurt. I think it's hard for account managers sometimes, in terms of what they face. Really, it can be hard. But I think if it was a phrase like that, that would hurt. I think I've been at Rightmove before, and you hear things that come back, and there are things in all organisations. I wouldn't like that being said. It would be wrong to say something like that.
I mean, again, I know you're not with them now, but how were the local account managers bonused or commissioned? I mean, is it on selling more products? Is it or could we almost, I used to work for a bank, and you basically got measured on your customer care score.
Yeah, it was part of that. Yeah, I mean, there were three. I mean, when I left, there were 3 levels to the OTE, if you like. Some of it, yes, was based on business growth. Some of it was based on retention. Keeping people happy with what they've got. I think I said to you, if they value what they've got, then that's good value for money. So that was part of it. Regular contact. There were lots of things gone in the background. So we used to do a partnership survey, literally, when the account managers went to the customers, aligned to what we call the Rightmove way of account management, and whether they're doing a good job. And ultimately, we asked the question, how good is your relationship with your account manager? And when I left, 83%, extremely good. It wasn't us asking the question, it was a third party. But it was based on real interactions. So as I said, personal trust with account managers, generally I believe is there. It certainly was.
Do you think that estate and letting agents are letting their heart rule their head when it comes to the relationship between them and Rightmove, when in reality?
I think there's both. I think I think I definitely saw it on the market when it launched. When I say that, it's a very emotive thing. I think there's a lot of emotion goes around the industry, but then equally, that tends to grab people first. Then equally, the logical argument, second. And I think whether logic applies or not, the emotion will always win. So yes, there is quite an emotive response to Rightmove.
Okay. Only say what you feel happy to say, but we are presently on Tuesday, the 16th of June. The Say No to Rightmove campaign are imminently about to launch their magic document. What do you think Rightmove will do at the end of the 4 months, 75%? And again, I must stress to you, you don't work for them and you are not in contact with them.
No.
It is. What would you do if you were playing both sides? And be objective, please.
Okay, well, there's 2 things. One is I've been part of this was because it didn't do, I would say, the right thing initially. And I think we've responded and went, do you know what, we're going to do 75% off. I think there'd be very far few that you would find other suppliers did a similar thing. So I think it did the right thing, but it jerked people into a reaction, that emotive reaction to what had gone first. Secondly, what will it do after the 75% runs out? I don't know, but I think it will do the right thing. And I think that's quite at the heart of Rightmove, that it will do the right thing. What that is, I don't know. But I think what's coming up, and Joshua, who I now work with, mentioned about the back end of this year. Quarter 4 is the slowest quarter in the year for estate agents. So building that through. So the agent pipeline, cash flow, if you like, is you've got furlough, that's going to run out. But equally, everything's going brilliantly and swimmingly. How far will that push into the quarter 4? So I think that the quarter 4 will be quite a testing time. So that would be my take on it. What could you do in quarter 4? Because that's probably when agents need the most support. My thoughts.
I mean, because 3,000 or 4,000 estate agents think Rightmove is a bully, the only way to deal with a bully is to stand up to them. And you know, they're not going to negotiate if you say, oh, please, Rightmove, we want to charge less. The only way they're going to listen is if people hand their notice in. Or is there another way that none of us have spotted?
I think it goes back to agents there's one thing, it's hard to deal with people en masse, because equally, you know, two's company, I've said it to you earlier, but two's company, 50,000 is a crowd, and there are 50,000 agents in the world, you know, and at different levels. There are 17,000 companies, there are 80,000 businesses. So can we keep all those people happy all of the time when, and they're all in different positions in terms of what they get from Rightmove and where they are business-wise. So I think you have to have individual conversations at that point. It's something I believed in at Rightmove, and that everyone has to have that individual relationship. Isn't
it interesting that so many agents have told me that the number 2 guy from Zoopla has been personally has been ringing them and spending half an hour to an hour on the phone with them. So, you know, some decent names, but also some small fry as well.
Yeah.
And I must admit, I was very, very impressed with that. That you know, the number 2 of Zoopla has literally been spending 15 calls a day over the last 12 weeks. And I've heard some of that, but I've heard nothing from any senior people in Rightmove making the same. Do you think that was an opportunity missed?
Well, I think Zoopla have been on a mission for the last 12 weeks to get people wrapped into long-term contracts, you know, on discounted fees. So I'm sure there's some purpose behind it. And that's not a slant. That really isn't.
No.
It is true. But equally, I think it's good that, you know, people, like you said, it's that faceless, you know, how faceless a Rightmove being against the competition. I think you could have an argument there. But equally, Rightmove do speak to lots of agents one-on-one. You know, I did it myself. I've spent days with agents. You know, Richard Wilkinson in court, Exeter was probably spent a good day with him. I remember that. Probably, but that's not a one-off, by the way. But
I think all of you, to be honest with you, going into COVID, were all faceless. All of you, you know, none of you did it particularly well. I'm talking about all 3 portals, and potentially, you know, isn't it interesting that the Challenger portal, who seems to be getting the most traction, is Home Search with and isn't it interesting that I actually had a chat with the CEO of another Challenger portal. I don't expect him to comment on this, and he said, but how can he have so many people wanting to do it when we haven't even seen the portal or how good it is? And again, I said to him, it's not how good the portal is, because that quality is a subjective point of view. It's the fact he's winning hearts and minds, and surely all 3 of them. I mean, let's be honest, the previous head guy on the market didn't do a particularly good job at winning hearts and minds. Would you agree with me that all of them need to start winning hearts and minds and being more personable and not just the grey man?
Yes, I agree. It's definitely important. I think some of the things you probably said then I would slightly disagree with. I think, you know, when agents initially, I think they'll love the idea of something, you know, and what it can bring in innovation and what it can do to change the status quo to a degree. So I think it's very emotive responses. So you get a lot of that. The if you like, you know, the law of diffusion and innovation, it says you have to get 20% of people, you know, to cause a bit of a following. So in that world, with agents, definitely the emotive kind of stories and the play work. But at some point, you have to deliver.
Yes.
You know, what I would say is, does Rightmove do what it's expected to do?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And I tell you what winds me up about these bloody estate agents, and I love them all to bits, is that every survey, you know, Peter Knight does his survey for the best agent guide, and Andy Yomdell from Yomdell Solomon does this surveys. And they moan about leads, but 52% of leads don't get even answered, and 27% of valuation leads don't even get answered. For God's sake!
You got me. And so going back, Chris, that's probably the biggest point. You know, if value for money is, I'll give you the kind of cost, and that's an average, right? But the bit that always bugged me is Rightmove delivers 3.5 million leads a month. 3.5. Now, if people say 50%, I'll say 30. I'll be more conservative, 30. That's just over 1 million leads a month. That works out to 13 million leads a year that are not being answered. There's two other versions of that. 30% don't get answered. Of the ones that get answered, how well are they dealt with? Two factors. One is it's all about return on investment, and with Rightmove, it shouldn't be seen as that. There's two sides to it. Does it deliver a good return on opportunity? I would say. You pay Rightmove.
I think that's a fair point. Yeah. People are almost expecting you to deliver a value, a signed terms of agreement, when in reality you're serving them a name and number. It's whether your staff are trained well enough to pick the phone up and deal with it and convert it.
Yeah. So it's measured on the funnel. What goes in and what comes out the other end, and the agents measure it and go, well, the opportunity went in. How good was the agent engine, and did it convert the opportunity? So if you're missing 30% of what goes in, well, you can discount 30% of the value you've asked for. Then if the one you're only picking up on 10% of the instruction opportunities, 10% of outright valuation opportunities. I mean, Bob Scarf had done some brilliant mystery shopping on that. But then there's a third angle that says, what did you do when you got that lead and you arranged a viewing or something else? What was your customer experience? And all those things matter in the chain. So there's did you deal with it in the first place? Did you do a good job with it if you did? And when it got pushed into your engine in your service, how good was the experience? And those three things matter from a vendor point of view.
Do you think I'm making a sweeping statement here that the estate agency industry, and we're not talking about everyone here, but the estate agency industry blames its own inadequacies of lack of training and motivation and accountability and awareness of how good they are on Rightmove, when in reality they should be looking at themselves in the mirror?
So I think the honest answer is yes, to a degree, and I think that's is because it would be wrong to say it's all on the agent. Is to a degree, if you're missing 30% of your leads, at the end of the day, agents there to make money. List properties, they want to get invited out to instructions, they want to close evaluations, they want to sell the property. And if you're an agent, if you were a business owner and you found out that 30% of your leads weren't being answered, and for every 100 opportunities that were given to you from somebody saying, I want to buy, I've got a house to sell, and you only pick up on 10%, is that Rightmove's fault? It's not. So I think there has to be some accountability. And again, dragging back to the Rightmove account manager, the majority of their time over the last 15 years since I was there is actually spent just working with agents to help them get more value out of that membership. It's quite damning though when you look at it. A lot of people say 50%, I'm saying 30%. And actually when you think about it from a vendor point of view, sometimes it's not about what you do, it's what you don't do. So if I explain that, if you're a vendor, 2/3 of the inquiries come from people with a house to sell. So you're trying to make an impression to those people. If they ring and you don't answer, what does that say about you as a business? If I then decide to sell a property, am I going to choose you, or am I going to choose the agent that picked up the phone when I called? So
yeah, it's amazing. I interviewed Bob Scarf, and he genuinely sent out hundreds of free val requests through the Rightmove.
Yes, it's that. Yeah.
And the response rate was shocking. Like,
right.
Talk about giving it to you on a plate.
Yeah. So I think in the world of change, and I think there's been 4 stages of evolution with agents. And I think, I've heard you say in the past, Chris, that if we went back to Rolodex and everything else. Well, the reality is, I think the same was happening then. It just, nobody was having a look under the covers and seeing what was happening. I think agents,
I tell you now. Yeah, I agree with you. Rolodex is my hot boxes. You still got to look at the bloody thing and pick the phone up.
Yes, you do. But I think value for money, that whole, and are agents getting the most value out of their membership? No. Should they get, if they concentrate on it, could they get a lot more value out of it? Yes. I'll give you a stat. Out of all the mystery shops that were done over that time, the best ever was 90% response rate. The agent was absolutely incensed because that 10% miss was 600 leads a month. He was absolutely, you would definitely at that time, one of the best estate agents in the country. So their mindset was 90% isn't good enough, we're missing 10% of the opportunities. The worst I've ever come across is an agent saying, you haven't answered any of your leads. And they went, yes, but we're all right with it. So they're happy not to answer any of the leads, and we're quite proud of the fact that they were doing so. Now that was in the move Going Fast, and you're going, the paradigms between the two are so large that, the best performers and the worst performers, if you like, in the estate agency, it's not even close to getting value for money.
Okay, so let's wrap this up. Can we both agree that Rightmove is good value for money if you use it well? I personally believe the extras are not worth the money, but I know you won't agree with that one, so we'll move on with that one. Agents need to be a bit more tougher, not tougher, but a bit smarter and actually utilize their leads more and not waste them. Yet at the same time, you agreed earlier on that there needs to be a more human face and a more caring face to Rightmove with the industry. So at least if we are being shafted, at least we've got a smile on our face.
Yeah, I suppose that's one way to look at it. I think Rightmove, we used to do in the past, which I think would be good, is...
That might be shafted if you get sent a bunch of flowers. Come on, have a smile on your face. I mean, come on. Anyway, that's we're all having a laugh and a joke, but come on. I think let's be honest, Jason, both sides could do with moving a bit closer to each other, or the empathy side and also the agents working on being...
I think there's a lot... Yeah, I think, is 3,700 on the say not to Rightmove. Does that mean the other 16,000 are happy?
Well, they are the silent majority, mate.
Well, I think that statement itself will grab people, and I'm not trying to be controversial, but that's when you look at the fact of the matter, there will be people that are quite happy with their relationship as long as it's delivering value for money. There's lots that are not, and it's, well, you need then to make sure you're extracting the most value out of it you can.
I don't know.
But on your point of faceless, I think that I think when times are tough, what do they do? I think the 75% off is the right thing to do. What does it do next? I think the things that I think do Mars is very market positive. The thing recently about the 97 point whatever it was, of asking price.
I did like that. I like that. I did like that.
Yeah, but I think it's done that in the past. There was the chance campaign. There were things. So when times are tough, what could Rightmove help?
A message to Miles and Rightmove. Maybe you could use this thing called video, and actually, because people are more interacting on video. I mean, it's a new technology, but it does work, mate, doesn't it? Just a thought.
Video works. Just turning up and saying we're, which I mentioned earlier, we're in town. It'd be good to meet you. There's lots of customers, and how can people get close? There's lots of things that could be done, but I think is how could we be less faceless? Would probably the question I'd be thinking about.
Jason, thank you for your time today. Thank you for your honesty. I always enjoy our conversations. I hope everyone that watched it, you got an insight into that. At the end of the day, Jason was never going to tell tales on Rightmove. He's got a lot of love for them, and I know Rightmove got a lot of love for him. I know he's moved on now to other projects, including working for Josh Rayner. But thank you for your honesty, thank you for your frankness, and when this shit show's all over, Jason, we'll have a glass of refreshing lager, lemonade shandy, and do the fat. But thank you for your time today.
Yeah, I quite fancy that. Well done. Thank you very much, Chris. All right.